Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at 5 transfer deals Edu and Mikel should have completed in the summer transfer window. So the first person on the list is Granit Xhaka, and the transfer deal that should have happened is Granit Xhaka to Roma. One of the early sagas of the transfer window for Arsenal, Granit Xhaka looks set for a move to Roma to join up with Jose Mourinho after a successful Euro 2020. It was understood that personal terms between the player and club were agreed. However, the clubs failed to agree on a fee. Instead, Arsenal renewed the contract of Granit Xhaka, and he will remain until at least 2024. This was a chance for Arsenal to move on from the midfielder who, for all his passing abilities, is associated with a high number of errors and disciplinary issues. Instead of investing in a younger, more dynamic partner for Thomas Partey, Arsenal are seemingly content with more of the same from the 29-year-old. And this is a transfer deal that should have happened, and I'm really gutted that it didn't, because many fans were mixed on this situation after just a string of good performances in the tournament for Switzerland. Arsenal fans were saying that Arsenal should keep Granit Xhaka, and I was really shocked by this transfer decision made by the fans. And when it comes to Granit Xhaka, Arsenal wanted 20 million euros. Roma were only able to offer 15 million euros, and for me, that even 15 million euros is decent enough for Granit Xhaka, even though it's a little bit less. I think we have to sell him at this moment. So the next person on the list is Yves Bissouma, and Yves Bissouma to Arsenal transfer deal must have happened. It looked almost a formality that Brighton would lose Yves Bissouma this summer, especially after the acquisition of Enoch Mwepu from Red Bull Salzburg and the rise of Xhaka Moda in the midfield. However, despite interest in Arsenal and Liverpool, the Malian midfielder remained on the south coast. With Granit Xhaka extending, the likelihood of Arsenal signing a midfielder appeared to plummet, yet at the time of writing, with Xhaka suspended and Thomas Partey still to return to training, the only natural options are Sambi Lokonga and Mohamed Elneny. Revealing how light the department the Gunners still are, had Ainsley Maitland-Niles left, Mikel would have had even less to work with. The failure to sign a Bissouma-type player could be a huge detriment to the side as they look to catch up on their rivals after a dire start. And Yves Bissouma to the Gunners is a transfer deal that was made in heaven, but that didn't happen in real life, because Yves Bissouma would have been the perfect midfielder. Look at Arsenal's midfielders currently. There's only Sambi Lokonga and Mohamed Elneny that can only train at the moment. So when it comes to Yves Bissouma, why didn't Arsenal sign him? We will only see later on. So the next person on the list is Alexander Isak to Arsenal. And this is a transfer deal that should have happened, as Arsenal were eyeing Real Sociedad forward Alexander Isak as a possible transfer target early in the transfer window, before their inability to offload players became a stark reality. According to The Athletic, the Gunners kept tabs on the 21-year-old rising star who proved his worth for Sweden at Euro 2020. Arsenal's technical director Edu rated him highly, and he was high up on the North London club's transfer target list had they managed to offload a striker this summer. The report adds that Sociedad frontman has a €70 million, which is £60.2 million release clause in his deal with the Spanish club, which also were considering triggering. That was before his release clause was increased to a cool €90 million after Alexander Isak put pen to paper on a new contract extension. And Alexander Isak is someone that impressed heavily for Real Sociedad in La Liga, and he was the Young Player of the Year in La Liga, and he showed that impression in the Sweden Euro 2020 campaign as well. And Alexander Isak would have been the perfect striker Mikel needed, someone that can score goals with his head, someone that can hold up the ball, someone that can do everything if you're a complete striker, which was heavily missed. So the next transfer deal that should have happened is Eddie Nketiah to Crystal Palace. Joe Willock was the only sale the club managed, and Eddie Nketiah looks in the final days of the window to have been the other possibility. The Athletic reported that Arsenal had wanted around £20 million, but Crystal Palace were looking at a figure half that size. It was later revealed by the PA via the Mirror that a £12 million deal was agreed, but a failure to agree personal terms saw the deal collapse. Crystal Palace instead signed Odsonne Edouard from Celtic. Nketiah's situation should have been sorted out some time ago. The club have held on to the 21-year-old for too long after plenty of chances. His presence in the squad nearly costed them talented striker following Balogun, who saw Nketiah as an obstacle to the first team. Balogun later surprised many by signing a new deal and has since earned his first Premier League starts. With a year left on Eddie Nketiah's deal, unless the cheap sale is sorted in January or a new contract is agreed, he will leave the club for nothing in the summer of 2022. And Eddie Nketiah could have stayed and been a regular starter at this football club, but that injury came at the wrong time, and Nketiah's wage demands were something that Crystal Palace weren't able to afford and weren't able to agree on, and it turned out to be another transfer mess made by the Gunners, as they are very lacking in the ability to sell players, something that is clear with Edu. So the final transfer deal that should have happened is Sead Kolasinac to Fenerbahce. It looked as if Sead Kolasinac would not play in an Arsenal shirt again after he joined Schalke on a 6-month loan deal in January of 2021. The Bosnian international couldn't help aid in the German side's battle to avoid relegation. Former Schalke boss Christian Blick spoke to Swiss outlet Blick soon after his sacking and hinted that the signings of Kolasinac and Shkodran Mustafi from Arsenal were a mistake. I wouldn't get the same players again in winter, Gross admitted. I would try to have a happier hand with the transfers. Yet, Arsenal has selected the 28-year-old in successive matches. Kolasinac newly joined Fenerbahce during the window, but his financial demands were revealed by the Turkish side's president, Ali Koch, to be too demanding. They contacted us for Sead Kolasinac, they said their demands. He said, if I remember correctly, they asked for a 3-year contract and €3 million per year with a £3 million signing on fee. We didn't. This left Arsenal with little to no option but to keep him, although the Turkish window remains open until September the 8th, so he could yet leave. This would, however, need his demands to change or the willingness of a side in the Super League to sign him to increase. So the Sead Kolasinac deal is a mess once again, and these are deals that should have happened. So we will have to wait and see how Arsenal performs at the end of this season. If you want to see more daily videos from Arsenal News TV, make sure you click the subscribe button, hit the like button so I know if you enjoyed the video, and share the video to your Arsenal friends and family. Click one of the videos on the screen and I'll see you there.